So, what are taxes specifically? Because I realize I find myself in rotating topics with my friends trying to talk about taxes. Of course, one of the main things is I didn't create taxes. We all fund taxes here. Taxes go as far as I think the earliest taxes were recorded were during the Egypt, I think Egyptian empires, where the pharaohs were asked, and I think the main crop that was uh, first taxed was wheat, because the emperors, if I recall well, the emperors realized that, hey, this crop is very valuable and we need to find a way to sustain this thing, to keep going on. So some people need to pay some of their yields to us. It wasn't monetarily in the beginning, but then it made sense because this is how communities are able to self-sustain. Very straightforward. So yeah, I mean, come to today, when I started my job, I mean, actually when I was working on campus, I didn't understand, because I thought with my wages that I used to get then, if it was something like, what I started with, like $11 an hour. um oh God, I've come from $11 an hour. Now that I'm thinking, I'm like, oh, how did I even survive? And I used to not do many hours. I used to do very few hours. So of course, whenever I did my 11 hours, I started multiplying. I was good. I would get into my calculator, and I'm like, 11 times, times 20. Oh, hold up. Good money. you know Whatever I would come up with, I would be excited. I'm gonna get, at least, of course, with my first paycheck, I was like, I'm going to, have at least this much. So I grind, worked for 20 hours, because that's how much oh no, yeah, actually it used to be about 20 hours. And by the time the money come, I used to question my own multiplication skills. I'm like, hold up, I did 20 hours, why am I getting this much? Till I learned, I mean, it's the hard truth, that of course the government has to take in a certain amount so that it can help me, because the government enabled, just like any services that we get charged for it. We always think, when we think of our communities and the government that is running the communities, we never think that we have to pay. If you have a subscription, that's how I look at it. If you have like a Netflix subscription, you pay for that thing monthly. It's not just enough to pay for it once, but no, you probably download the app once, you probably sign on the website once for free. But for the ongoing service, you need to keep paying. That's how I look at taxes. Thank you, the government, for keeping up the roads that I drive, or the streets that I drive to go to work, and meaning that because the government has fixed everything from my house to my work and back, I have to pay something to basically pay for those values. I think I used to be selfish. Now that I think about it, every time I question the government, I mean, at least understanding, living in the United States, that you pay for everything here. So taxes was like, let's do it. It has to be done, get done, no problem. Fast forward, when I was on campus, of course, I stop expecting that the amount of hours that I will be working should coincide with the amount of money that I get. So that was clear. Now here, I remember talking to some of my friends, and it's one of these down times, and we were thinking, I'm like, if all roads are made already, why do we have to continuously pay for taxes? Then the other thought came to my mind, that, oh, these roads don't just get made once. I mean, day in, day out, you realize your streets, your roads are being fixed. The highways, they continuously get fixed as we go. Where is that money coming from? Who is paying the machinery, the engineers, public servants? When I go to whatever office, when I go to DMV, when I go to here, to there, who pays those people? Of course, I do, indirectly, or at least it's fair that I pay for it. Not the little fee that I pay once every 2 years should be enough to cover. If that was the case, probably those offices wouldn't be existing. But I appreciate the services that I get, so I should, support anyhow. Now, taxes. There is many different types of taxes, but specifically I'm talking about, the individual taxes or taxes, income taxes that you pay, income taxes that you pay every time you earn money, either as a business owner, either as just a regular employee, or I would say corporate taxes. They're all same. Each one of these entities is trying to say thank you to the government basically for whatever services they were able to render. If it's security, if it's whatever, all that is what covers the taxes. The building, any sewage system, where is that going? Who is maintaining that system? All that requires some form of money. So that was also clear, put on the side. Now I know it's January. It's not by mistake that we're talking about taxes around January, because many people, at least I've heard from different immigrant communities, they don't do their own taxes. Up to now in 2026, people still find their private tax preparers or people to help them prepare taxes, and that's not fine. It was good until a friend of mine told me about the situation where they had to pay, it was close to what, $7,000, because someone kept or continuously lied every time they did their taxes. This person could say they were in school, they did this, they did that, and the person who had to pay never went to school, but the person who prepared the taxes lied on the taxes that this person was in school. Because most of us get fixated, or we get our eyes fixed, or we focus on the tax refund. Now, the tax refund doesn't come from heaven. Of course, it's not. Don't let anyone promise you however much, most especially if you understand how much, how you work throughout the year. It's not by chance or by mistake that you get this amount of money. That money was yours to begin with. It's just that the government usually understands. Sometimes there is tax deductibles, which just means that as you go through the year, there are things that you did to help others, or to help improve the value of the services that you are providing, that the government says, hey, we can allow you to this amount because you did so A, B, C, D. That is that simple. The government allows you or gives you money back because of the services that you did. There is also the tax credits. Tax credits is basically when the government, to begin with, doesn't take a lot of money from you because of whatever things that you do, either the child, or it depends. Different things have the government take little tax from you because of X. So those are tax credits, the tax refunds. So if you go to someone who is preparing taxes for you and you want their business, which is good, but then if you force them to make sure that they produce, they do whatever they do to have you a lot of tax return, it's like you're pressuring them to put wrong things that you don't have to get money from the government. And many people tend to have that money. In my friend's case, they found themselves, they didn't ask really for any returns back. They just wanted to do their taxes like any normal person does. This person went and put whatever information. And what sometimes is funny is these people put their bank account in your name. So when the money gets released from the government, it goes to their account right away. Then people who are preparing your taxes, they give you the money. I think that's wrong. Wrong in so many levels. I do also understand if for example, you pay them a fee, a one-time fee, like $100, and they do your taxes, and if there is anything that is to come back, goes into your account. That is the most logical thing. They prepare for you, you have the money, or you pay the money, whatever the case is, because sometimes it's not just the refund. Sometimes, or most of the time, I have people who have businesses get to pay extra because probably the government did not deduct as much. So if you have a 1099, of course you will have you'll have to pay the government, or at least find a W-2 job or anything like that that would have to supplement your needs. In that case, a W-2, that money comes already, taxes have been deducted, and well and good. Awesome. Let me see to just make sure that I don't miss any of my points. We say that a tax is a fee that individuals or corporates pay, and we say that every tax comes in almost every paycheck comes in with taxes being deducted. Well, there is different rules as far as taxes are concerned. There is different forms. So depending on what kind of job you do, that would tell how much or how much you're going to pay. We spoke about the income tax, or the tax that you pay on your income. The rule is the more you pay, the more you earn, sometimes the more you pay. Different tax brackets. There are those who probably get 8% tax deduction, most especially on income tax, mostly on income tax. And there are those who could go as far as half of what they're working for, depending on what tax brackets. And tax brackets just means if you pay, this is an example, if you earn 2,000, for example, they would probably charge you like 8% of the 2,000. If you earn 50,000, they probably wouldn't need 8. They would go as far as 20, right? If you earn 100,000, they would probably go to 30% of what you earn. If you go to as much as, I would say, 500,000 or 1 million, you get how. But I think the highest I know is half of your money gets taken. I don't think I know of situations, unless you owe on taxes, where they would charge you for more than 50% of what you made. And basically that's what taxes are. Taxes are not very hard to comprehend or understand. They're very simple. But if you come to get in terms with taxes and understand why they exist to begin with, you shouldn't be having any problems really paying for the taxes. I mean, some people just don't have it. Make sure that if you earn a lot in a year, you save a lot too. Because if you earn a lot and don't pay taxes, there are chances that you will need to pay taxes on the back end. But if you've overspent, that becomes a big problem, because some of this money, the government doesn't know if you really spent it all. The government knows that you earned a lot and you need to pay a lot. So make sure you're really very frugal. And with that said, check some of our videos that we have on this channel, where we're talking about savings. We're talking about budgeting. We spoke about net worth, APR. We have videos, very few videos, but they're very subject based. And for that reason, thank you so much for being part of this. And again, this is your financial buddy. And here at your financial buddy, we just come and talk to you like a friend would normally do. Many things are online. Many experts are there teaching you about this, about that. But here we are I'm after wisdom, trying to find meaningful friends and talk about money. Because everyone has access to money or earns money. So let's talk. I'm not selling you any service or anything. Of course, probably tell you to check our website, that is yourfinancialbuddy.com, which is in the description of this channel. Check it out. We have an AI, or we have different things that we basically have, you could read about, that involves you being financially literate and trying to improve your finances. There is no harm to doing a budget. There is no harm to invest. None of that. I mean, don't listen to me. I'm not really a financial advisor, but I'm sort of like your friend that you talk about money regardless of the fact that they have access to your money or not. Friendship. All right. Thank you so much. This is your financial buddy and Capis.